Okay, so let's just do this. Okay. As you can see in the top right, we have a hunger and a thirst icons counting down currently. As you can see, the hunger is going down very fast, drink's going down slower. Completely separate scripts system here, so you can turn one off and get the other one. So you can grab these drinks, put the first back up, grab some food, restore the values a bit. As you can see, they go back up, carry on counting down. And let's just grab this one for 1,000, going to go up to 100% down. Okay, so as I say, they're completely separate, just got them on two always active objects here, but they follow exactly the same logic, so you have all the same settings here. You can go through the description here to give you all the information, but basically we've got whether the system should be active or not, and that's in script form so that you can toggle it from other scripts, say, I don't know, when the player's sleeping or something like that. You don't want them to be ticking down, so you can turn it off. If the player entered, or how much the player enters the script map with, this is not the maximum at first or hunger, this is just the current level if you want, so I just set it to 100 to be maximum. How fast it goes down, and this is per minute. So if you have one here, it takes a whole minute to go down 1%, and if you have 60 here, it's 1 per every second, and obviously 120 is 2 every second, and so forth and so on, until you sort of reach a happy balance with your game and how long it takes, etc. You can toggle whether or not the levels will affect the player's health, how much damage it will do every tick, and whether there's a threshold you need to go below before it will start damaging. So say you want it to only kill the player when it reaches 0, you just set this to 0, set the damage really, really high, make sure this is ticked, and then when it reaches 0, it will just do that real high damage to the player, probably killing him unless you set the player's health to be something ridiculous. But like also you can say like if you get below 50%, then it should just do 1 damage every tick, and then obviously while that value stays below 50%, eventually the player will probably die because he's taking constant damage, unless he eats or drinks or whatever is affecting him at that time. You can change where the icons are on the screen and how big they are, and whether the text is displayed as well, and where that's displayed and how big that is as well. And then exactly the same for the hunger. As you can see, it's exactly the same, only it's completely separate, so you can change the rate of this here as well, so they don't have to be the same rates. You can toggle whether this one's enabled without the other one being disabled, or vice versa. Again, you can change whether it hurts the player and how much damage it does. So of course you might want hunger to be more damaging than thirst, or the other way around. And of course you can change the icon positions and sizes for that as well. And then you have a little collectible script here. So very, very simple. We just set a little value here for how much it should restore or even take away if you have like rotten food or something like that. You might want a negative value here, but for now we're just going to change the value. So if we go to that, it's going to give you 10, and if we go to the food over here, this one gives 10. If we go to this one, it gives 50, and of course you just change the values to whatever you like. So a packet of crisps might only restore a little bit, a full meal might restore a lot, etc, etc. Size of the food, size of the drink, whatever you need. The only other thing, obviously I can't show you the damage because there is no damage in my version of Max here, but it is in there, and if you die and the levels are below 0, it will restore them back to 100, but if you die and the levels are just above 0, it will just keep the same values, because I wasn't sure like how to sort of balance that, so you may want to adjust that in your own scripts and logic, because obviously you might die in combat, and then it's a question of, well, where does the player then carry on from? Say he reaches a checkpoint, you're going to want to save the thirst and hunger levels at that point so that you can restore them from there, rather than having like this script restore them to 100 or so forth, whatever you need. Hopefully that makes sense.